England is on fire and Elon Musk is going to war. I don't think you're aware of what's going on if you're living under a rock or in America or whatever, but you have to know. All right, there has been such a massive pushback, a massive broad pushback against the immigration, like far left ideology of how all cultures are the same and all cultures could mesh together and all immigrants are good people and all white people are inherently evil, inherently evil colonizer people. It's over. It's literally over. They tried, I think, to control us for years. I think they tried to control us with Hollywood. I think they tried to control us with propaganda, with media, with the actual news sites misrepresenting certain cases, and it's literally falling apart. I think that we are shifting the Overton window by discussing real things and not be afraid of our entire lives being completely destroyed if we make a racist comment. Okay, deemed racist by the overlords in the government. So if you look at Elon Musk's Twitter, he's been going insane. All right, so this guy tweets, this is what we mean when we talk about the rape of Britain. All right, one night in Oldham in 2006, for example, a 12-year-old girl named Sophie entered a police station and reported that she had been molested in a graveyard by a man named Ali. A desk officer told her to come back with an adult when she was sober. Two men accosted her in the police station, joined by a third, and they raped her in their car. When they dumped her on the street, she asked a man named Sarwar Ali for directions. He took her to his home, raped her, gave her money for bus fare home. A man named Shakil Crowdhurry pulled up his car, offered to take her home. He abducted her, took her to a house where he and 4 other men raped her. This is the worst story I've ever heard in my life. Elon Musk pinned this tweet, the rape of Britain. He is going mega fucking hard, as he should. This is incongenible evil. Like actual evil. And he has been on a crusade, my homies. A crusade! Now, I'm a big fan of the whole idea that not all cultures are equal. I know this is considered racist, but this is real life, okay? It's real life to the very bones of society. Some cultures are based on biblical ethics, and some cultures are based on fucking child sacrifice, all right? Pakistan, rape is basically legal in Pakistan. So when you're importing 1 million Pakistanis, legally or otherwise, it's gonna fuck up your community, obviously. And look at what Elon Musk has been retweeting.
So I would go further and say that anyone that commits any crime on British soil then should face deportation. If they are convicted of that crime, they are not following the laws. And
makes sense, right?
First shoplifting offence.
I don't believe that any offences. I don't believe that anybody that is on British soil that is committing a crime, if they are not a British citizen, should have, and I say this is the daughter of a first-generation immigrant from a third world country, I don't believe that if you are here and you are disrespecting the rules of this nation, whatever it may be, if you're convicted of a crime, you should have your rights to remain in this country rescinded.
Right, that makes sense. It's so logical. But for so long, and Elon's like, of course. All right, this boy is Leo Ross. He was 12 years old, very successful student. He was loving. One day, Leo was cycling home. He was brutally stabbed to death by a 15-year-old migrant boy in Birmingham. And look at what he's been retweeting. It's absolute diabolical. Look at this. 2-tier tyranny. Look at how insane this is. Pro-Palestine supporter climbs a war monument. No arrest. Police officers watch. Mother hangs a Union flag. Arrested. Arrested! Dude, this is fucking insanity. And they are literally going insane. Muslim men have raped at least 500,000 predominantly white girls in the UK alone in the last 40 years. What does the Prime Minister of England say? If you protect your children against rape gangs, you're far right. That's right, baby. That's right. Here we go. Asylum seekers given £300,000 townhouse rent-free, while struggling locals can't get on property ladder. That's right, baby. That's right, dude. People literally giving the people of Britain's shit to immigrants. Suicidal empathy. It is insane. He has been tweeting constantly about this. He has not stopped, bro. He has not stopped. It's all England. All England, dude. Oh, my lord. Look how insane this is. Oh, dude.
Have you been tamed by the Islamic nonsense? Are you tamed by them? What is happening to you guys?
It's wild. And, you know, immigrants that are legally immigrating to England and trying to actually assimilate, those guys are fucked. They're mega fucked. Iraqi killer of Lana protected by the government. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop, bro. Oh, my lord. Net migration was 431,000 in 2024. Oh, my lord. And it literally is unending. Of course, in America, it's pretty amazing. In America, it's also an issue, obviously. But today we're going to be predominantly talking about England. This is what Pritzker said in America.
This is
he is the governor of Chicago.
Part of his plan to do something really nefarious, which is to interfere with elections in 2026.
All right, so how is deporting people illegal in the country going to interfere with elections, fat man?
Wants to have troops on the ground to stop people from voting, to intimidate people from going to the voting booth. So take note. That is what this is all about.
So he's afraid that illegal immigrants, people not legal in the country, that are not legally allowed to vote, he's afraid that they won't vote. My brother, you are saying the quiet part very out loud. They are trying to steal our countries. This is a war, a actual war that's waging. So, Sargon of Akkad over here, Akkad Daily, he's been dropping nukes. I've been covering the England stuff thus far through him. He's my favorite far-right Britishman, and he just made 2 more videos on this whole thing. So we're going to be doing a deep dive onto what's actually going on, because I think this is fascinating. We are literally witnessing the people actually fighting back against invaders, literal invaders that are coming into our countries and fucking raping our people. This is insane. You could call me racist, but you can't call me wrong. Lock in, boys and girls. The war is waging.
So the left is slowly but surely learning that their words of power no longer work. The black magic incantations don't have the effects that they used to.
What do you mean? You mean when they call you fascist, it doesn't ruin your life anymore? What do you mean? When they call you Nazi, you literally can't give a shit? What's going to happen? What are they going to do? Are they going to call you racist, God forbid?
In fact, it turns out that it was all illusory. And if you just ignore it, it all goes away. Look at this.
I mean, in England, not so much, because they literally arrest millions of people for, like, you know, verbal crimes, because there's no free speech in England. Yeah! They have no power over you. If they call you racist, you know what your response should be? And, like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Okay, I'm racist. Now what?
From The Guardian and David Renton. Lessons from an asylum hotel counter-protest. Calling our opponents fascist doesn't work.
Oh, they're losing. They're losing. England is on fire. Protests are everywhere in Australia. The world is waking up to this bullshit. They really are. They absolutely are.
When anti-asylum demonstrations have so much support from the mainstream...
They're going to see how toxic this is. All right, Crusades too, bro. They're going to see how toxic this shit is. And they're going to see that not all cultures are actually created equal. Some cultures are evil fucking cultures, and they are inherently inferior to cultures that are founded on biblical values. I've said this the entire time. I still say it. They hate me for it, and I'll keep saying it.
A smarter, more tailored message is needed. Right, that's really interesting. Because
the propaganda's not working anymore. The buzzwords are losing power.
It's a wonderful admission that it's not the...
It's an admission that they never thought that anyone was racist or fascist or Nazis. They just use these words to control people.
Thought they were fascists.
True.
You just thought the word fascist had power and would shut people up and make them go on the defensive and say,
your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
No, honestly, I'm not, because for some reason you thought these people still wanted your approval.
True.
But that's not the case now, is it?
Correct. Don't care.
Let's have a read. So he talks about how he went to he helped organise, in fact, the Thistle City Barbican Hotel protest and counter-protest on the other side of the road.
Yeah, so they're literally trying to make government-funded counter-protests against the massive protests that are sweeping the countries.
50 people are gathered to demand the hotel be closed. Speakers there called the refugees illegal invaders and parasites. Seeing and hearing our opponents, the anti-racist...
I love how he calls them refugees. I mean, they're not all refugees. Some of them are literally illegal invaders and parasites. All right, dude.
This responded with a spontaneous chant. I am sure it's totally spontaneous.
Right.
Nazi scum off our street, which our side was able to sustain for more than an hour. I understand why, blah, blah, blah. But he says, but the chant didn't strike me as effective.
Are you fighting for the child rapists or against the child rapists? It's that simple.
As when I heard it. And the more I've thought about it since, the more convinced I am that it's the wrong strategy. There were fascists present at the demonstration. One banner advertised a small hard-right group, but they were not the organisers. They hung back, mute, at the edge of the protest. So that's very interesting, isn't it? They know that the people they're calling fascists are not fascists. They use the word fascist as a magical...
Crazy admission. They're losing the culture. They're losing the actual culture. They're losing the people. This is unbelievable.
A magic power, a way of literally stigmatizing you and nothing else. They're not doing anything descriptive. They're doing something proscriptive. They're just saying, no, you are bad people, and we are going to call you bad people for daring to want the safety of your children to come before the human rights of a bunch of foreign men.
Look, man,
like that.
I'm a big believer in you have a culture that is based on Western values, based on biblical values. You want to keep that culture alive. And if people are going to be joining your country and not willing to assimilate to your culture and try to force you to bend the knee to their culture instead, and it clearly is not working, they should not be in your country. You are not literally the free handout for people for your suicidal empathy, the little dad-shaped hole in your hearts that instead of, putting God inside of you, you decide to fill it with something else. Some other form of fucking bullshit empathy that you're trying so hard to shovel down your own throats. And do it by, opening your borders to the world and all these fucking rapists that are coming into your countries. Dude, I am a big fan. I am a big fan of the idea that you should stand up for your people, for people that share your values, for your country. I don't know. I just think it makes sense that you'd want to protect your country from invaders that are coming to subvert it and rape your children. Like, you'd think it would be logical, right? Like, dude, come on. And I know that people call you racist for saying stuff like this. People call you fascist, but he's basically admitting here they never thought you were fascist. Never. They were using that word to discredit you. Because if they call you a fascist, maybe you'd be scared to raise your voice. If they call you a fascist, maybe you won't get hired. And that would be enough of a disincentivization that you won't actually go ahead and say things. Dude, they're calling you Nazis, not because they think you're Nazis, but because they're literally trying to stigmatize you. Crazy admission.
It's absolutely mad, but these people know what they're doing, and this article is just a wonderful admission of this. The crowd did chant in support of Tommy Robinson. The latter, I suspect, is probably the link that the organizations like Stand Up to Racism lean on when labeling the current anti-refugee...
Love Tommy Robinson, by the way. I spoke to him a couple times. Actual goat while I messaged back and forth with him. He's amazing. He's literally fucking fighting for civil society against barbarism. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's crazy that the giant deep state of the world literally wants to mush all of these countries. It's crazy. Dude, and I am super consistent about this for every country. Every country should stand up for their values. You should not be importing people whose a dominant part of their culture is raping children. Unless they are, slowly but surely conforming and visibly conforming. And if they're not conforming, get them the fuck out. It should be that simple. And any logical person would think the same way. And I mean this for every country, every single one. All right, England, America, Australia, Israel, doesn't matter. If you have a value set and a culture set, you should be protecting yourself. Doesn't matter. I think they should all be treated the same way.
Movement as fascist. I mean, sure, but you've just admitted you'll call anyone who objects to you fascist. And you know he's not a fascist too, which he admits. Many of the protests, their spokesperson has said, are organised by known fascists and Hitler admirers. But Robinson, unlike the fascists of the 1970s, doesn't leaven his speeches with reworked passages from Mein Kampf. He isn't a Hitler admirer, nor is he perceived as such by the movement. He used to boast of having a Churchill quote tattooed on his arm.
Based.
Incredible admission.
Damn, he's just admitting that we know they're not Nazis, but we're calling them Nazis anyway. To weaponize the media to destroy them, to ruin their lives. We're trying to slander all these people. He's admitting that everyone is being slandered. And look, the American media knows this too. They know that Trump supporters aren't Nazis. They know Trump isn't Hitler, and they will constantly push this message. It's insane.
The leftist has to be...
England surrendered. This is the first signs of England surrendering.
Look, I know we've been doing this and calling everyone Nazi for a long time, but actually, Tommy Robinson is not a Nazi. He's an ardent supporter of Israel, and he doesn't ever voice support for Adolf Hitler, and he actually voices support for Winston Churchill, obviously because he is a British patriot.
Yeah,
so,
I see a lot of people trying to do like this history revisionism, saying Churchill was the bad guy. Y'all retarded.
Again, the mask is well and truly off of this article. This article is an absolute gift.
It's beautiful
for us.
Like, and you don't realize this is the enemy. The enemy is like, we need better tactics. We know calling them Nazis was always a ploy, and it's not working anymore. And it's like, mwah, mwah, thank you so much. Oh my lord, Operation Let Them Speak, a success once again.
The strategy of labeling our enemies fascist depends on a context where the mainstream is willing to isolate and shame Nazis.
There it is.
Those are not the times we are living in. So he's smart. Right, that
Cinema.
again,
Cinema.
incredible.
And by the way, just saying, no one would even know about this if not for things like Twitter. All right, if Elon Musk wouldn't have bought Twitter, I think this would not be happening right now. We wouldn't know. These stories wouldn't get attention. But people wouldn't know that there are grooming and rape gangs imported from Afghanistan and Pakistan that are raping children. People would not know this was a thing if Elon didn't buy Twitter. The media buried it. The government doesn't want to talk about it. Tommy Robinson, who's the guy who, by the way, blew the whistle on these grooming gangs years ago, was imprisoned for years for Islamophobia. Okay? Like, holy shit, dude. So realistically, a lot of people, no one would know this. Dude, we're living in an actual revolutionary time.
Right. So things have got so bad that the liberal luxury of,
calling
as he
people
says,
Nazis,
isolating and shaming those people.
And it used to work, because if you're not a hyper-political guy or whatever, it really matters, okay? If you were flamed by the media as a Nazi for a Twitter post or whatever, you're gonna get fired from your job. Who wants to hire a fucking Nazi? Because they're gonna get canceled by association. Your employer is gonna get in trouble. He's hiring a Nazi. And it was such a dirty, vindictive, evil, malicious tactic that was used. Leviticus 19:16, thou shalt not spread slander among your people. And that is literally what they have done for years to fear, shame, and silence their enemies.
Call Nazis. It doesn't work because the actual problem is far greater than the vanity of ideological impurity. Like the idea, oh, that guy's a Nazi. It's like, look, man, I don't give a shit about that guy. I give a shit that there's a bunch of foreign men that I'm paying for to live in.
Like, you call me a rapist? You call me a Nazi when there's like a grooming gang of 30 rapists that have been going around and are not going to jail? I don't care. Your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
And they're trying to rape children, right? That's what I care about. You caring about the ideological purity of this guy is just so far down my list of priorities.
Bro.
And he's been like, yeah.
Yeah, your labels mean nothing. They're raping kids. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Turns out that they're not going to do anything about the people we yell Nazi at anymore. So that was always an option, was it? It was always an option. When a bunch of communists turn up and start calling you a Nazi, you can just ignore them and just let them chant for an hour, wear themselves out, and then carry on whatever you were doing, actually. Crazy. It turns out that it's, again, according to this leftist who organizes protests. He carries on. Take Robert Jenrick, the Shadow Lord Chancellor, who recently attended an anti-refugee protest in Epping. Farage hasn't done that, has he?
Uh-oh.
Anti-fascists released a photograph featuring Jenrick with Eddie Butler in the background. Butler is a former election candidate for the British National Party and was the guru behind its Rights for Whites campaign in the 1990s. What was most revealing about the incident is what came next. A close source to Jenrick said he did not know who Butler was. Jenrick kept the photographs of his time in Epping showing on his X profile. He made it clear he wasn't embarrassed, and the story dissipated to nothing.
Bro.
Oh,
pain.
Can we just ignore them, can we? It turns out
they have no movement. What are they going to do? Call you a Nazi? You just ignore them and they lose all their power. They have nothing. What are they going to do? I mean, they've already arrested dozens of people for, being Islamophobic. Hundreds of people, my bad. It's crazy.
Oh, actually, you can. If you're pictured in a crowd, because there is as he says, a legitimate a group of people who are obviously not actual far-right Nazi blah blah blahs, and those people just happen to turn up, and one of them's like on the edge of the picture with you, you don't have to react to it. You can just say, I don't care. I don't care.
Damn.
I'm here to support the people of Epping. I'm not here to uphold
virtue signal that I happen to be standing in the same frame as a Nazi.
Or dogma about ideological purity and who is allowed to associate. I don't care.
True.
Jenrick showed he wasn't
Dude, apathy is literally the greatest weapon against these emotionally weaponizing bullshit, overly feminine fucking freaks. Like, it's wild how easy it is to destroy them when you're coordinated. When enough of people actually get together. And realistically, this should have happened years ago. But I think it's been artificially protected and hidden by people in power for so long. But yeah, pendulum swinging, baby.
Embarrassed, and the story dissipated to nothing. Just ignore them. Don't even respond to it. Don't even react to it. They're like, oh, that's a Nazi. I don't care, man. Just get these immigrants out of my country. They broke in.
Dude, every illegal needs to be removed immediately. And every legal immigrant, if they commit a crime like this, I completely agree with that lady we saw in the beginning. Get them the fuck out. They cannot assimilate. They should leave. You are joining a country to be assimilated, okay? You can have whatever belief system you want, all right? Separation of church and state and all that, whatever it is. All right, if you want to have whatever belief system, that's fine. You fucking rape a kid? Get the shit out of here. Take your family with you. Holy shit.
Disproportionately committing sex offences, and I'm being forced to pay for the privilege. This is unacceptable.
Completely insane, if you think about it, even for a second. It really is. I saw this guy over here, Sargon of Akkad. I saw him make a tweet on Twitter, and I thought it was a banger. He wants England to be for the English, just like Israel is for the Jews, right? You know, and he's right. He's right, dude. He's just correct. It's not racist to say that England should primarily be there for the English people, right? Like, why is this controversial? It should not be controversial. Oh my lord.
It's just unacceptable. I don't know why you're talking about Nazis and fascists when you're not talking about this. Like, this is a genuine danger to people. The people you're yelling Nazi and fascist at.
Oh my god, all the Nazis and fascists, you point while you're literally protecting the pedophiles and rapists.
Are just basically fat larpers most of the time. Who cares? Like, if he's actually committed a crime, go and tell the police.
Agreed.
Otherwise, get out of my face, because I'm interested in dealing
Arrest the criminals, otherwise shut the fuck up. I don't care about you.
with this. If the movement was perceived as fascist, as in the protest movement, by Jemrick or the other conservative and reform politicians who have associated with it, or by the Labour ministers who have conceded the right's main demands and agreed to close refugee hotels, then it would not be as confident and unrepentant as it is. Again, we know that we are not fascists. We know that we are the concerned parents and locals and people who just happen to pay taxes.
Yeah, I don't care what you call me. I literally don't care what you call me. That's why I decided to just go guns blazing. I literally don't care. I get canceled every week for being transphobic or ableist or racist or sexist or whatever ist or phobe they want to put on me. I literally don't care. I literally don't care. There could be a tweet out there with 100,000 likes saying that I'm a homophobe. I don't give a shit. You're gay. I don't care. Like, your words have no power. I've said this forever about cancel culture. Cancel culture is in your head. All right, you'll only get canceled if you let yourself get canceled. Like, what are they gonna do? Call you racist? Okay, dude. Anyway.
Of this country.
Subscribe. All right, subscribe, my racists. See that? See that? Let's up those numbers, homophobes. I don't care. I don't care what you call me. Your labels mean nothing. I don't value your opinion enough to care how you label me.
We are the patriots of this country. We are the people who are actually the backbone of this. But I just came home and I've got a bloody letter from the tax man. He's like, guess how much you have to fork over? And I'm just, oh, Carl, 45 ands. Just,
bro.
I'm so, I know.
Taxes are so shit, bro. Imagine paying taxes and then that tax money goes to fucking invaders to your country that are raping your children. Imagine. It's so brutal. You don't even have to imagine. Yeah, look, I pay taxes to America. You know, God bless America. American taxes are spent way too much on retard shit. They really are.
Where the money.
Every time I hear a story about a migrant hotel in New York housing illegal immigrants funded by the taxpayer dollars, I literally want to kill myself. Like, it's so fucking annoying.
He's going, you know what I mean? And it's, I don't care if you call me a goddamn fascist. I don't care if you think I'm far right. I don't care. I know I'm not, and I know I'm right. This is the thing. I am absolutely unrepentant on this, as is everyone else, and rightfully so.
True. Don't care.
And behind the politicians who have flattered the street movement are a much larger group who share its insistence on describing migration in negative terms, as in, that's 2/3 of the country. More than now, actually. Probably nearer 3/4 of the country who's been sickened of migration. Keir Starmer tweeted more than a dozen times in August about migration, because when nearly 3/4 of the country are like, this is the problem.
Yeah.
As the Prime Minister and government...
But don't worry. There's 1/4 that's still unperturbed. The liberal white women. All right? Listen, the right wing white dudes, they're against it. All right? The right wing white women, they're against it. The left wing white dudes are against it at this point. The last holdout are the left wing white women. They are the final stage. The final people defending the rapists.
Who relies on democracy to make the country, to attain power in the first place, you kind of have to be responsive to that. I'm sorry to tell you, you communist subversive.
No, don't worry, guys, because you're the fascist. Because you actually want democratic decision in your country, that makes you fascist. The people that are literally going against the will of the people to force their rules upon you, they are not the fascists.
Every one of his messages has presented it as problematic, illegal, or the work of criminal gang smugglers. Yep. In the weeks since the Barbican protest, the anti-refugee movement has kept up its momentum. Brilliant. Calling them Nazis.
It's so scummy that they call it an anti-refugee movement. I'm telling you, man, the one thing that the left does that's so annoying, and they do it all the time, and I don't think the right does this, is they really weaponize language. And I'll give you a really easy example. Transphobia, all right? Phobia means an irrational fear. All right, so when they call you, if you don't, like, if let's say you believe there's two genders, okay, because, you know, you're a human, and you think that there's, you think that there's two genders, they will label you transphobic. Transphobic is inherently a word that means you have an irrational fear of trans people. That's not true. I don't have any irrational fear of trans people. None. I have a very rational fear that people are going to try to manipulate my children to have trans ideologies while they are fucking children. Okay, I am afraid of that, and it is a rational fear in the basic American school system, okay? That is not irrational at all, but they weaponize language like that, all right? Like, homophobia. I don't have an irrational fear of gay people, okay? In fact, I don't think anyone has irrational fears of gay people. You know, let's say some person is a religious guy that he believes in the Bible, and the Bible says that, you know, gay sex is a sin, okay? And they are a religious person, and that is their belief system. They're not homophobic. They don't have a rational fear of gay people. And the left will constantly manipulate and twist language to be something that it's not, to flame you and frame you in the most disingenuous light. And that's what they're doing here. Like, they call it anti-refugee protests. It's not anti-refugee protests. It's anti-rapist, illegal immigrant invader protests. Okay? That's what it is.
Even when they were fascist at the present at the edges of their event, and again, I want to keep hammering this point home, they can differentiate. It's not that they're stupid. They're evil. That's literally what he's telling us. No, we're not stupid. We were just being to the whole time. We were using this word of power.
Yeah, never mistake stupidity for malice.
Or against you as a cudgel in order to just silence you, in order to smack down your legitimate concerns and try and turn polite society against you. But I'm sorry, polite society is on our side now because the problems are just far too self-evident.
Yeah, polite society doesn't like rapists and pedophiles. Polite society was just, in my opinion, kept in the dark forever because the media and the politicians manipulated people into not realizing what was going on.
You've lost. But he says, yeah, so calling them Nazis has done little to undermine them. They don't believe they are fascists. They don't have organized fascists leading their circles. The term seems to them exaggerated, laughable. Yes.
Bro!
And
that's why I literally don't care. Like, I'll make a video praising something that Trump did. I'll have some guy on Twitter saying, oh, Nux is a Nazi. And I'll just be like, bro, dude, you are so fucking retarded. Oh, here's a good example. Hassan Piker, largest leftist political streamer on the internet. He also supports terrorists, pedophiles. He called me a Nazi multiple times. You think I care if some fucking freak, inbred freak like Hassan Piker supports terrorists and pedophiles, pays for sex? You think that dude calling me a Nazi, do you think that matters at all? Do you think it's even remotely offensive to someone like me? I don't care what you believe. Dude, my grandparents are Holocaust survivors. I am the furthest from Nazis you could possibly find. So you think I care if some fucking on Twitch calls you a Nazi? Literally don't care.
Always has, actually. Going back to like the first protest that we did in like 2017, 2018. It was laughable then, it's laughable now. He says, you may say I'm expecting too much of one term, even if the fascist label had worked, gotten under our opponent's skins. There's no way we'd know it was working. But he carries on and points out, well, actually, yeah, it did. When we deal with the far right now, we are facing a movement that is pushing forward a group of female leaders that feels different from 5 years ago, let alone 50 years.
Yeah, nothing's perfect.
Islington, one of the speeches came from a woman described as running a local nursery. It was read out on her behalf. Again, these are the backbone of the country. These are the regular, normal people who you think are essentially apolitical dummies. Well, it turns out they're not. It turns out they can see the world around them getting worse, and they can see the reason why, and they're absolutely convinced that this shouldn't be this way. And I
can't believe the media is just straight up admitting all this. Like, this is a stunning confession.
Right. And you are on the wrong side of history on this one, frankly, if we're going to use those sorts of terms. The contemporary far right is focused on pushing a single narrative about refugees. It's all based on the same logic, that the people in the hotel are the single men, foreigners, and both squads are likely to be sexual predators. Well, that's only because...
Well, that's, because of statistics. I can't believe you would think that the statistics are higher than they're sexual predators. The statistics are they are literally more likely to be sexual predators.
Of the number of them that have been charged. This argument wins supporters. Again, it's only because of the number of them.
I can't believe the argument wins supporters. It's almost like people don't want their children getting raped. What the shit is happening?
Charged. And it shields them from accusations that they're extremists. Oh yes, I'm sure that the...
Yeah, they're using... They are using the fact that the Muslim raped their kid as a shield, all right, to protect themselves from being called Islamophobic. because they can say, whoa, you're calling me Islamophobic? A Muslim raped my kid. Yep, they're using that as a defense mechanism. They don't actually care about the whole raping their child thing. They really care a lot more about the Islamophobia. That's just kind of sneaky about it. This is fucking unreal. Unreal.
Lady running a nursery in Islington really is an extremist, actually. I'm sure she's actually secretly an absolute extremist.
Now, look, man, I say this a lot, and I get a lot of pushback for this. I do believe that there are some, there are good Muslim people out there, all right? I'm not saying that this is like an all of it kind of thing. But all the radicals, all the actual religious extremists, dog, I read the Quran, not all of it, but chapters of it. Dog, it permits you to rape non-Muslims, children, in the Quran. Now, I know that some people are obviously not going to take it that far, but all the religious extremists do, apparently. You know, it's when it says smite the neck of the kafar wherever you find them, referring to anyone that is a non-Muslim. Like, well, what are we doing here? Right? When they actually take these doctrines and apply them in real life, yeah, it might make you Islamophobic.
You just can't seem to prove it. You just can't seem to get around it. The logic of the argument is racist. It relies on the assumption that because their migrants or asylum seekers are not white, and with no other supportive
I wonder what Sneeko says. I'm sorry for the random tangent. I'm sure Sneeko had something to say. I'm guessing he blames the Jews. Let me find it. Dude, I'm actually in shock. So Sneeko, for those of you unaware, is a right-wing American fellow, became a Muslim. I'm actually in shock. I actually found it. I was literally joking before, but like this dude will say that, you know, Muslims never do any wrong ever, literally ever in the history of ever. And he always blames the Jews for basically everything. So this is Elon Musk saying rage, retweeting a story of Asian men. These are Pakistani men that raped and abused a 13-year-old. Look at his take. I'm actually in shock right now.
Elon Musk only criticizes. Elon Musk will never criticize a Jew. He won't ever talk about Epstein. But
Elon Musk is the guy that said that Trump's name was in the Epstein files. He started the Epstein discussion in 2025. He is the guy that went out there and tweeted, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. Also, Epstein was a Jew. One Jewish guy, all right? This isn't like mass gangs of Jews roaming the streets raping children, all right? There are Jewish rapists. There are Jewish pedophiles. You know what? There's pedophiles of all persuasions. There's Catholic pedophiles, and there's pedophiles that are atheists and transgender as well, all right? There's pedophiles of all persuasions. There are literal gigantic gangs of mass rapists being imported into England, okay? Anyway. So he's like, why isn't Elon criticizing the Jews?
he does talk about this nonstop.
Yeah, because there are hundreds of thousands of rapist immigrants in England. Millions of girls were raped in England over the last 40 years. Millions.
Talking about Bengalis and Pakistanis and trying to pass her up to 12 Muslims. Bangladesh Muslims.
Yeah, but that's a true story. What's the problem?
Making sure there's all this. Richest guy in the world. Why is he only tweeting about this?
Why is he tweeting about literally the thing he's been fighting for the entire time, which is being protective about immigration and not just letting in people with cultures that are more okay with raping children into your countries? He's literally been on this the entire time.
And he tweets in all caps, rage. And this account, like 100,000 followers for an account, deport foreign criminals with the shit. Like, does this even seem real to you?
Yeah, it is real. Keep coping, brother. It is real.
The caption here.
Sneeko's supposed to be based. What's going on?
White, 13, virgin. It's like the most, they're giving you this betrayal to instill rage.
This is a true story. This is literally a true story.
To white people. Look at the white girl is getting fucked by the black guy.
I don't know why he's doing this. This is, first of all, if it was Jews or blacks, he would be more than happy to talk about this, all right? But because it's Muslims, he's a little bit upset. Listen, I get it. Hurts me every time I hear a story about a Jewish pedophile or whatever. I'm a Jew. I feel sick to my stomach. I get it, but I'm not going to sit here and run defense for fucking pedophile rings. I made 4 or 5 videos talking about the Epstein files. Dude can't condemn rapist grooming gangs.
And to make it even more obvious, he tweets rage.
Yeah, because it's really maddening that you have a country with millions of children that got raped by Islamic grooming gangs. What the fuck is happening?
In all caps.
Yeah.
Trying to redirect the outrage that people have towards Israel.
Yes. The gangs of Muslim rapists in England is a secret Israeli psyop to get people to stop talking about Israel. The brain rot is so fucking real.
towards Muslims.
Yeah, the brain rot's amazing.
Convenient time.
But what a convenient time, you know, when Elon Musk is actually in power and there are literally people really mad that there are immigrants into our country. Like, dude, you have to understand Sneeko. Sneeko says that immigration is the Jews' fault, but also going against immigration is the Jews' fault. Do you understand what we're do you understand the level of retard that we're dealing with? Oh my God, I can't believe the Jews caused immigration, and also the Jews are trying to talk about how immigration is bad. Anyway, yeah, that's Sneeko. Dude, why do people take this guy seriously? That's insane. That's just fucking crazy. Holy shit. I was like literally joking before, but I was just right.
Evidence there is, but you don't want to talk about it. They must be more prone to sexual violence than the men who already live here. Well, I'm sorry, but we actually can look at the sexual violence rates of the nationalities of the men who have come here, and then we can look at sexual violence rates in the countries that they've come from, and we can see that they're just not the same. People in Britain, the men of Britain, the actual British men, are far less prone to this, are far less inclined to this, and there are cultural reasons that we can explain the differences. But you don't care. Just calling it racist is ridiculous. Because
that's the argument every time. You're racist. You can call me racist, but you can't call me wrong.
Persuaded by that. Everyone knows that they have very different cultures that, frankly, don't have the level of respect for women that English culture does.
True. All these people, remember, they're all feminists. Like, remember that? Isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing? These are the fucking feminist people, the believe all women people, the women superiority people. Like, these people are not protecting women because there is an even more victimized group that they need to protect.
And
the immigrants.
He goes on and says, look, the simplest one-line refutation of it is to look at the men who were arrested for offences in the various race riots that followed events of Southport. Of these men, a staggering 40% had been reported to the police for domestic violence. What do you think the rates of domestic violence are for the illegal migrants who come over? Like, the countries they come from. What do you think the rates of domestic violence are? I imagine they're pretty high. But look at what he's doing here. Again, it's not... You are wrong. I mean, he's literally not saying they're wrong. He's saying they're racist. he's saying, you provided me the support.
You can call me racist. You can't call me a liar. It works. It's such a good line, dude.
Evidence. You could go and look it up. You can go and look up the supporting evidence, and you'd have to come to that conclusion. But instead of calling them wrong, he's calling them racist. And then he's saying, right, so what we need is a new slur. And what we're going to do is call them wife beaters.
Wow, that's fucking crazy.
We say, oh, look at these wife beaters. But the thing is, I mean...
I think they lost power. They're out of power.
On an individual level. But it doesn't matter because, again, this doesn't really have any teeth. It's like, oh, the wife beaters are here to protect children from being raped by migrants.
like, how do you position yourself? Like, every time I see, like, the leftist movements, it makes me wonder. Like, they are positioning themselves with the rapists and the pedophiles and the cartels. Like, they are positioning themselves with the actual terrorists.
It's like, yeah, are they wife beaters though? Like, and when the little ladies from Islington come out and they're like, yeah, I really don't want these migrants predating on the children in my local nursery that I run. They're gonna be like, oh, that's because you're a wife beater. The pink ladies, are they all wife beaters? Again, no one thinks that this is gonna work.
Oh my God, they are coping so hard. They're losing.
And he ends it.
They never thought they'd lose. I think they really thought they would completely control the country. They would take over deep state style, and they would literally just walk away with the gold, and they are literally losing.
This, rather than shouting Nazi, is the argument most likely to undermine the anti-refugee protests.
Oh, shit.
We need to be using it in our leaflets when we talk to people in our protests, right?
We need to propagandize that it's a group of white wife beaters. Dude, this is fucking crazy.
Okay, David, right? I know you shouldn't interrupt your enemy when you're making a mistake, but this is really
Operation Let Them Speak.
Dumb, right? Amazing. Because when you call someone a Nazi or a fascist, it implies that they are...
Why would I ever intervene when my enemy is doing such a good job kicking their own ass? This is amazing.
There is a... It doesn't even just imply. It's a group that's constructed around a shared set of beliefs. It's an ideology, as in a Nazi or a fascist has an affirmative world that they want to bring into being.
True.
Someone who is a wife beater is someone who
made an individual immoral decision.
I assume has poor self-control when arguing with his wife. That's not an ideological position. That's not trying to bring a new world into being. That's not really political.
It's an insult.
And that means wife beaters don't tend to congregate in organized groups for wife beating or something.
Yeah.
To bring about the wife beaters manifesto or anything like this.
Oh my God, the wife beaters are standing up against the pedophiles. Pick your poison, Britain.
That's not how that works. So you have essentially chosen a poor category on this because no one's going to be persuaded by it. Like everyone protesting the Epping Hotel and everywhere else. They're just wife beaters, bro. It's like,
That's cinema. They're trying
that sounds
hard.
stupid, frankly. It's quite
my
ridiculous.
Lord,
and
that's
obviously,
beautiful.
this is not going to persuade people.
Yeah, no.
There is no organized cabal of wife beaters who want to drive the
Oh my
immigrants into the
God!
city
This is
because they're worried
amazing,
about
dude.
them
Watching
raping
a
their wives
revolution.
or their children. Like, that's really funny.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's not going to
amazing.
be the case.
That's
But
beautiful.
the good thing about this, and what I love about this, he's a barrister,
That they're retarded.
author of the New Authoritarians, Vance on the right. What I love about this is considered to be cutting-edge left-wing thought. And you realise, well, hang on, they're way behind us. Like, the right has
Because policy-wise, reality-wise, they're lost. Bro, they're telling you that there's more than 2 genders, and they expect you to take them seriously. I've been saying this for years. Anyone that tells you there's more than 2 genders is just someone that I'm just immediately gonna, I'm gonna value their opinion a little bit less. Because they're wrong on, like, the basic fundamentals of reality. Like, why would I ever take them seriously on anything?
done so
But bro, you like, it's the what is a woman, It's like, if you can't define a woman, like, why the shit should I listen to anything you have to say? Nothing you say is of value. You lost me already.
much more
Dude, look at this motherfucker's glasses. Everyone that wears these glasses is a retard.
actual good work thinking about how politics in Britain and the West more broadly works, and we're so much further ahead than them. Like, this is really funny, and it makes the right look. Like
And remember, they always say that it's the educated people that are on the left. Yeah, well, if the educated people are all indoctrinated into retard world.
they're really smart. And you know why? Because they read Islander magazine.
There
Now,
it is.
I don't know how much longer Islander is going to be on.
Nice, good promo. But apparently he made a new video, which is even crazier. It's all coming to a head, because I really do believe we are reaching the end. We're reaching the end game. I think England is actually folding. This is actually diabolical.
Starting to come to a head now. It's just undeniable at this point.
Yeah,
that
the culture's
state
changing.
itself
It's
is
happening.
set against the British people.
Yes.
And in
I think it's like this, by the way, in every Western culture. In every Western country, there is a deep state that is out there manipulating and out there conniving and evil, trying their absolute best to control with this fucking liberal puppet agenda. I don't know, it's getting all conspiratorial. The woke Jews! The woke Jews are at it again! All right, I'm sorry, I'm obviously kidding. I think it's these woke elites are literally trying so hard to fucking destroy us, and it's evil.
Either of foreigners who break into our country. And not just the ones that break into our country, the ones that it, against our democratic will, has said
Actual satanic shit.
in their millions that they can come and settle in this country. Nobody wanted this. Nobody asked for any of this. This was done
How did this even happen?
completely. I mean, every manifesto of every party that's won for the last, 50 years has said, yeah, no, we're not going to have immigration. We're going to reduce immigration. We're going to get immigration down
And
to
it never happened.
the tens of thousands. We're going to make sure immigration is manageable. It has not happened. And so now the country is just awash with strangers. And this is why Keir Starmer was like, yeah, well, we are risking turning into an island of strangers. Like, yeah, I know. Because I go out into my local town that just 5 years ago wasn't like this. It was a normal English town.
Damn.
And now it's just crazy.
Damn.
Absolutely crazy how just anyone from anywhere is allowed to come and live here, and we have to pay for the privilege. This, of course, is all
Crazy, dude. It's such
sparks
a telling tale.
this
Yeah, there's a reason why Elon Musk is talking about this nonstop.
latest sort of confrontation has been sparked by the court's decision about the asylum seekers staying in the Epping Hotel, which is, again, just mad, actually. If you just think about it from, a perspective that isn't invested in the conflict, you think, hang on, why would they be doing this? So, of course, the local council in Epping applied for an injunction to get the asylum seekers, 138 of them, removed from the Bell Hotel in Epping because a couple of them had sexually assaulted kids.
Yeah, I heard of this.
And the government decided to appeal this.
Dude, why is the government so against their own people? Dude, bro, this is COVID, this is Biden, this is all of this shit. The government fucking hates you. They hate you. They want to push their fucking Satan agenda, whatever the fuck they're thinking. It's evil.
On specific grounds, they actually have, the government lawyers say it was relevant public interests in play are not equal and are fundamentally different in nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a bunch of...
There's 100 rapists in a hotel that are living there off the taxpayer dollar. This is evil. This is diabolical.
very suspect men that we have to pay to house here. And then you've got the normal people of Epping who are worried that these men are going to do something to their children.
Now, you could argue that it's Islamophobia. But once again, you know, we talked about how the left weaponizes language. This is not an irrational fear.
So yeah, you're right, they're not equal. Like, one side shouldn't even be in the country, and the other side is right by default. So weird how the government's like, yeah, no, this is a problem. Because, and this is the thing.
Every fucking government just aligns themselves with pedophiles. What the fuck is going on? Every government aligns themselves with pedophiles. It's insane. Like, it's crazy. Like, dude, if I would write this shit as like a fictional antagonist, you would tell me the writing is sloppy. You're gonna be like, sure, and all the governments are ruled by pedophiles? And I'll be like, yeah. And you'll be like, that's fucking stupid. And I'll be like, yeah, I know. That's pretty contrived. It's some contrived bullshit, isn't it? It sounds it, dude. Dude, like, if this would happen in Game of Thrones, I'd be like, sure. And all the governments are ruled by pedophiles? But that's where we're living in that world. If this was fiction, I'd call God out for sloppy writing. But this isn't fiction. And we're up against, this is like actual end times shit. All right?
They realized that, oh wait, there will be a wave of legal challenges from other councils over the use of hotels in their area if Epping's victory would set a precedent. So they know, all right, our intention to bring in loads of foreign men will be made much more difficult if we allow this.
Right.
And so, okay, what a shock.
Yeah, crazy.
What a shock. Lord Justice Bean at the High Court said the High Court ruling by Mr. Justice Eyre failed to consider the challenges of relocating the migrants.
Oh my
well, I'm
God,
sorry,
you're
how's
kidding
that our problem?
I literally don't care. Why should I fucking care? Right? They're like, listen, it's going to be difficult for the rapists to move, so we're just going to leave the rapists in your community. What are you talking about? Why is this my problem?
Deport them. They shouldn't be here.
Yeah, drop them off a plane with a parachute from wherever they came from and let them figure it out. If they raped a kid, are you insane?
The judge's approach.
See, I am a bigger fan of penis guillotine. I think the penatine, patent pending, is going to be big.
Ignores the obvious consequence that the closure of one site's capacity means capacity needs to be identified elsewhere in the system. Too bad. Deport them.
Agreed.
They shouldn't be here.
Agreed.
And yeah, it does look like it looks like
this is insane. It's insane that it's my problem. It's my problem that there's an illegal rapist living next to me. And you can't do anything about it because it will be difficult for them. And I have to live with that. Literally, why?
Of the illegal immigrants being put above the rights of the British people. That's entirely true.
True. Two-tier kier, baby.
That is what it looks like. And it seems to be the actual case of the matter.
And to be honest, it was like this in America too under Biden. It was. It literally was. You'd have repeat offender illegal immigrants. How the fuck do you have a repeat offender? They arrested a guy that was illegal in the country for rape, and they would let the person go. They would put them back on the streets. How do you get repeat offender illegal immigrants? You caught them the first time. Why the shit are they back on the street? They're not even allowed in the country. And they're a fucking rapist. But they don't care. They don't care. They don't care. Two-tier cure, baby. Two-tier cure.
Like, the actual facts seem to be that that's what they're doing. And again, you've got to remember, these aren't exactly good guys as far as we can tell.
This is
But
crazy.
Lord Bean said that this was worrying because if an outbreak of protest enhances a case, this runs the risk of acting as an impetus for further protests, some of which may be disorderly around asylum accommodation. There's a risk of encouraging lawlessness. Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Lawlessness. So they'll arrest more people for Islamophobia. Lawlessness, so they'll protect the pedophiles. Sure.
That telling people, no, you have to have the rapists in your community within walking distance of a school is definitely not going to cause any protest. I mean, that's what's been causing the protests so far, but I'm absolutely certain that you telling everyone to shut up and suck it up is definitely going to stop the protests.
Yeah, that's going to make it better.
And this is genuinely what they're worried about. And unsurprisingly, it's what they're worried about, because I think it's going to continue to happen. In fact, we know it is. It's already happening. But this is just one of those things where you can't help but feel that when they say it's not equal, they're not wrong. True. But the problem is the locus of their attention, right? So as you can see, Piers Riley Smith for Somani Hotels, they own the Bell Hotel,
all right,
said this risks a precedent being set. Well, yeah, but obviously you'd be against it because the government is bribing you, paying you to host migrants in the hotels. So why would we listen to you? Obviously, you're going to be like, oh no, we should definitely have the migrants in the hotel because ka-ching.
Easy, they're making money off of it. Dude, it's such a fucked up system, dude.
And again,
we care about the poor taxpayers. We care about the poor taxpayers, which is why we're going to work with the billionaires to house pedophiles in your community. Like, it's so divorced from reality, it's insane. Elon Musk, by the way, tweeted that he was considering going on a podcast with Sargon of Akkad over here. Like, this is insane. This is getting really, really big.
The argument, there's no evidence exactly where they'd go if the judge's decision was not overturned. And they overlooked the hardship the migrants would face.
Again, don't give a shit. okay, don't give a shit about the hardship the migrants are going to face if they're committing these crimes. Like, I don't know why anyone needs to care. Like, why is it my problem? Like, I don't understand. I am an empath myself. I've developed empathy. Call me iDubbbz with the amount of empathy that I have. But I have so much empathy for these kids that are getting raped. Like,
I don't care. I'm not overlooking it. I don't care. I mean, personally, I'm in favor of corporal punishment for them breaking into our country.
Okay, that's a lot. That's extreme. Dude, I like the penis guillotine idea. Again, I think that this should be like a universally accepted form of punishment. Someone commits rape, you cut their penis off. Okay, that's my opinion.
I'm in favor of the state literally arresting them.
And for 1 year after the rape, all right, I'm developing the codex. All right, the codex Nuxanor over here. So, penis guillotine, all right, and then you take the penis and you nail it to the front door of the rapist, and they have to keep it up for a year. All right, that's my opinion. We're working on it. We're pushing legislature as we speak.
Putting them in stocks and having them flogged and then deported back to wherever they've come from for the temerity of breaking into our country and then attacking our children.
So breaking into the country, they need to get deported. There's no reason why they shouldn't immediately be deported. And attacking the children, penis guillotine. So penis guillotine and then deportation.
Right. The idea that I'm in favor of them suffering hardship, like massive amounts of hardship as punishment for what they have done.
Yeah, they invaded the country. They should not just be, honestly, just sending them back is doing them a favor, okay? Literally, because they could just break back in. There needs to be a punishment. I agree. They're breaking into your country, dude.
Us and the people of it, right? I am in favor of hardship. So it's really weird argument, frankly. But yeah, the protests have already happened.
Yeah, that's the two-tier here.
A woman here who went up to the, the Epping Forest District Council building, put up a British flag, and she was arrested.
Yep.
Now, of course, they didn't do that with the Palestine flags on our war monuments and things
Obviously
like that.
Not. Of course
so,
not.
Again, it shows you where the locus of concern is, right? Because what does putting up a flag mean?
Well, I think, in my opinion, it's not just like a locus of concern. It's not just like where the loyalties lie. It's the agenda that the elite group, whoever the fuck it is in the shadow government, it's whatever they're trying to push. It's whatever they're trying to push. They're obviously much more on top of pushing the Free Palestine stuff than they are about pushing, raising the flag of your own country and your own country. So, in my opinion, that's kind of what's going on. They're a much bigger fan of immigration than they are of British people being against immigration. So they're going to push immigration. And they're going to punish people that are protesting it, in my opinion, to sow fear so people stop protesting it.
A flag is a symbol. A flag is an embodied representation of something else.
Yeah.
When you put up a flag, you are saying this territory is under the jurisdiction of the people and moral system it represents. And so when you put up the Palestine flag, that's being used as an embodiment of foreign people and the moral system of leftism, the moral system of extreme radical leftism.
Yep.
To say, no, this when you see this flag, it is a representation of the moral jurisdiction of radical left-wing lawyers, radical left-wing politicians, and radical left-wing activists, and the foreign client groups that they represent. When you see the British flag, or more pertinently, the flag of St. George, what that states is this is under the moral and legal jurisdiction
of the
British people.
Yeah.
And in the case of England, the English people.
Right.
And it is their interests, their rights that are being upheld, their claim to the country that is being represented in the flag. That's why they arrested the mother of Epping, and that's why they didn't arrest the Palestinians. The police know which side they are on. They are the police of tolerance.
Dude, the police are going to have to choose. We're living at a time where shit is getting so volatile to the point that the media is even admitting that they can't call people Nazis anymore, okay? Their last weapon. The police are going to have to choose a side. This is actually fucking scary.
Diversity. They are the police of the international multiculti global order. That's what they are here to defend. And that's why they have such trouble recruiting. That's why they have such trouble retaining police officers. That's why their job conditions are so difficult.
Yeah.
They are, in effect...
They're the enemy. The fucking enemy of the people.
An army of occupation. They are here to protect an imposed globalist order that people never voted for, didn't want, and don't support. And so no wonder it's so difficult for them to keep and maintain recruits. No wonder there's so much resistance and friction between the police and the communities they are supposed to police. I remember this is meant to all be done by consent, but people just don't consent more. People just don't want this.
And they call you a fascist, and then they install a government that was never voted for with policies that no one wants.
And you might be thinking, well, hang on a second, what are you talking about? What proof do you have that these judges are far left and that this is a
Are you kidding me?
Quite a lot.
You'll have a violent, illegal immigrant rape a British lady. The British lady will say mean things about the rapist, and the British lady will be arrested for Islamophobia more than the rapist will be arrested for rape. This is a real thing that happened in England.
And this is a remarkable article on Sky News. Now, Sky News used to be a part.
Yeah, they used to be far left.
I would have always
They used to be
considered
really
Sky
left.
News one of the core mouthpieces of the global liberal international order. And
Times are changing, boys. Times are changing.
they're doing surprisingly patriotic work, which I didn't see coming. They've published this article. Political leanings of the two...
Looks like the left-wing Jews are getting taken over by the right-wing Jews. It's over.
Judges involved in the hotel case and who they sided with.
God damn.
Now, you've got Lord Justice
great.
Bean is the ex-treasurer of the Society of Labour Lawyers and used to chair the Fabian Society. Go and look up the logo of the Fabian Society, sorry, the former logo of the Fabian Society, which of course is affiliated to the Labour Party.
Of course.
I mean, Sadiq Khan was a chair of the Fabian Society. Loads of them are. And then, so Stephen Eyre was a Tory parliamentary candidate. So you can see how the judges are falling on this. One judge is
It's crazy that you have these biased judges that will literally go against the actual syntax of law of the very country that they represent. They will go against the legal framework of their own country to push agendas. How are these people not literally in jail for this? This is crazy.
Left-wing Labour Fabian, and the other is a conservative, so he's concerned about the integrity and the continuation of the country.
Literally, the Bible, Deuteronomy, and the judge should remain far from bribes. Like, dude, this is evil shit.
And so you can see this is explicitly political.
Yeah,
There is
obviously.
a political war going on in the judiciary, and a bunch of leftist judges are making their judgments and their decisions. And so basically we have to hope that the last analysis is done, the last judgment is made by a conservative justice. We
That's
just have
evil.
to hope
That's
that's the
insane.
case. Because otherwise we get...
like, again, why aren't... Like, dude, there should be laws, and every single judge should actually be following, the law. This isn't literally based off pure whim, whatever the fuck you want. Like, what happened? What happened to England? What's the point of laws if the judge could just arbitrarily decide whatever they want?
And let's be real, I think the system is just going to essentially sort of not rig it, but, be structured in such a way that the highest level of judges is definitely going to be the international lib types, and they're going to rule in favor of the foreigners. And they do it every time. It's not an accident that this happens.
No, of course not. It's some
this
purpose.
is just
It's
the way the system is set up.
designed that way.
And this is, again, the purpose of
It's
this...
like we're playing a rigged game. Now we have to try to win a rigged game. And slowly but surely it's happening.
Is what it does. This is how it operates for a reason. This is the two-tier nature of the system. It is designed to extract wealth, extract power, extract resources, extract anything that it needs, manpower, out of the native population of this country, and then use those resources, use that power, use that money in order to facilitate the
foreigners.
plantation of this country
literally.
with foreign colonies.
This is an actual occupation going on. It's crazy.
It doesn't matter how much you object to that. They will just arrest you.
Dude,
they will
they'll arrest someone for raising a British flag in England. Fuck, dude. They're cooked. They're so cooked. There's no fucking way this actually holds up. There's no way.
just use the system against you, make their rulings against you, regardless of how ridiculous it looks, regardless of the fact that they know that this is going to cause protests, way more protests. It strikes me that the actually conceding on these points would have been more sensible, but no, now it's being drawn to a close. It's being, pushed.
No one could turn a blind eye to this. Like, it's too obvious. And Elon Musk tweeted that story.
To a head on all of this, on this particular issue. It's like, okay, well, I mean, the people of Epping have nowhere else to go. The people of Britain have nowhere else to go.
Yeah, back to the wall.
The foreigners you're bringing in absolutely do have somewhere else to go.
Yeah, wherever they
and
came
at some
from.
point, it looks to me like the situation will become so dire and untenable that it'll just be not worth their time to stay here. And then we will be left with our treacherous judges, our treacherous politicians, our treacherous police officers, and they won't even have the foreign constituencies to back them up.
Crazy. Damn.
Anyway, you've got things like this, which is just crazy. Not obviously this hotel owner is the crazy one, but it's crazy how this is the situation that we're in, right? As you can see, James here, a boutique hotel owner in Cambridgeshire has rejected a £3 million 7-year contract to house migrants.
Oh
saying
my God. What a fucking goat. Bro turned down £3 million from the government. This is a 7-year contract, so it's very likely, you know, £3 million a year to house all these migrants. And he said he's not doing it because it'll harm the village. Holy shit.
Refused to be part of the arrogant government's asylum system. What an absolute patriot. If you're ever in Cambridge, go and stay at Willingham House. We have to absolutely support the patriotic people of this country who refuse to be bribed by the state. And they refuse to take part.
How obvious it is who the villains are right now, and the people are coming together over this. And they'll call you a Nazi, and literally no one cares.
In replacement of the British population, they refuse to be a part of this system because this system is going to age badly. When it comes to the end of all of this, people are going to be like, wow, you were complicit in this. I mean, for example, and Elon's been making a lot of noise on this recently, which is absolutely superb. The government in Britain is bribing owners with multi-million pounds for 7-year contracts to house illegals. Their goal is obviously to amplify and extend the illegal migrant tidal wave, not reduce it. Anyone saying otherwise is a liar. Thankfully, this good man rejected the bribe.
Damn. Based. And yes, it's true. Everyone in the government that says we're going to halt migration, we're going to roll things back, we're going to slow it down. Fucking liars. They are still bribing people to house them.
Completely true. Completely true. This is an incentive to get more illegals into the country because, frankly, they have decided that the native constituency is an unwinnable battlefield. They can't politically compete with the natives, so now they have to start courting foreigners. Remember that they turned one of these hotel owners into a billionaire.
Fuck, dude.
They turned him into a billionaire.
Britain's first billionaire migrant hotel king. Insane. Meet the tycoon who raked in £4.8 million a day on government bribes to house illegal foreigners, rapists, and pedophiles. Fuck.
Like, so much of your money has been funneled into Graham King's pockets, and that smug, smirking traitor. You got to ask yourself, well, how long is this going to last, Graham? And what happens when the actual bill comes due?
Yikes! So yeah, Elon's on fire. He's at war with the government of England. The people are rising up, and England is admitting their losses. They are literally, they're folding. They're folding again and again and again. The people are rejecting them. The policies are changing. The outward glances, they're admitting that they can't call people racists and fascists. They admit the people are on the other side, and they have to literally start relying purely not on the democracy, not on the people, but they are literally relying on corrupt judges to rig the system. They are so cooked. And this is actually happening in our lifetime, and I'm so happy that we live to get to see it. It's insane. Not all cultures are equal. Acknowledging that does not make you racist. It makes you awake, and definitely subscribe. I'll link Sargon in my description, and of course, definitely subscribe to me. I will stay on top of this story. I think it's important to recognize that not all cultures are the same. The giant political bodies that are controlling us are our enemies, and the fucking freak retards out there that are turning a blind eye to this shit are complicit. All right, anyone that calls you racist is part of the problem. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.